Hey, welcome back, everybody. Time again for our weekly journey we call Living Hope, your journey living with pancreatic cancer. As we share the real life stories of those really affected by this deadly disease and how they deal with it on a daily basis, as well as those who help support this cause, like our friends at the Hirschberg Foundation. Welcome, Roberta. They're back again?
Yes, we're just thrilled to have
Seems
them
like they were
back.
just here.
Well, I would love to have them back as much as they want to come. I'd have them all the time if I could.
They're good guests. They really are.
Yeah, they are. They've got a great story, and today I'm very honored to welcome two dedicated women from, like you said, the Hirschberg Foundation, who not only work tirelessly to support the pancreatic cancer community, but also have a personal connection as well. But what I would like to do is just invite all of you to listen and go back to some of the old podcasts and find out what their connection is exactly so that we can move on. And maybe if we have time later, we can discuss it. But yes, they actually, in all fairness, we actually share that we've all lost our mother to pancreatic cancer. So that is
You do have to identify them again. I know they're rock stars and everybody recognizes them, but you may want to just identify
I
them
think
again.
you're right. So thank you for that. We have Amy Reiss, the Director of Patient Programming, and Sarah, the Director of Development for the Hirschberg Foundation.
Easy for you to say.
No, somehow my tongue just got really tied. So I don't know. Well, it's been a backwards day, but we won't go there either. But we're here today to talk about the 19th Annual Hirschberg Foundation Symposium. Amy's going to tell us, let us know who's going to be there, the guests, what we can expect, but we wanted to get a little perspective maybe from a caregiver point of view. So Sarah's going to offer her thoughts on caregivers. So Amy, I'm going to turn it over to you and you can tell us what we can expect for the Hirschberg Symposium.
Well, I'm really excited about this event in particular. By the way, I'm hearing myself really loud.
You are?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Not so good, but if
How
you
about
could just
that?
a little lower.
That one? This one? How about that? Better? Same as?
That's okay. I can work with it. It's quite loud in here.
Is it? It's still loud in there?
Yeah.
In your headphone? Shouldn't be that loud.
Okay. I'm going to continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
And now I can't hear anything. So the 19th Annual Symposium. First of all, thank you on behalf of Aggie and all of the team, because Living Hope is once again sponsoring not only the symposium, but the LA Cancer Challenge. So every year you guys continue to give back, and we're so appreciative.
Well, thank you. We're very appreciative to what we found in the Hirschberg family, and we call you all a family, and it's, something we just feel very dedicated and want to do whatever we can. I wish we could do more, and when we win the lottery, we will.
Same for all of us, exactly. So this year, I started to say the program is uniquely tailored to patients and families. Can you hear me? Okay, good. We're starting off with Dr. Emily Martin, who's a palliative care doctor at UCLA, and her topic is navigating your pancreatic cancer treatment right from the start. So literally she's going to talk to us about patient gets diagnosed, where do they go, what do they do, how to find a multidisciplinary team, high volume medical center. She's going to get into the ABCs of you've just been diagnosed and how she can help with that. She's a director of palliative care at UCLA and very involved with the pancreatic cancer community. So that will start the symposium. Dr. Tim Donahue, who's our director of the Aggie Hirshberg Center for Pancreatic Diseases, he's going to talk about he's going to give us a pancreatic cancer progress report for 2025. And so he'll really be able to share advances in early diagnosis, strategies, surgical interventions, targeted therapies, and immunotherapies. So that's something we added a few years ago because we figured everyone at the symposium wants that progress report. Where are we today? What can we look forward to? So he'll be able to share that with us.
Do you know, and I know this is kind of a touchy subject, maybe will he be able to go into what has happened recently with the funding from the federal funding? Will he be able to talk about that at all? Or
NIH and the concerns about,
yes,
yeah. This just came out last week.
right.
So I'm hoping because it is a progress report, he can talk about the challenges that we're going to have moving forward. Are you referring to the mRNA vaccines and
That and just the funding that, we just learned that the federal funding was cut, I believe, 57%. And then for the pancreatic cancer one that we had totally just for pancreatic cancer is going to receive, they say, nothing this year. So I don't know if he's going to be
Nothing?
able to
I had to pipe up. Are they going to nothing? They cut out the program.
They cut, if right now what we're hearing is it's been cut. It's getting no funding at all. And so we're just curious. It's from the Department of Defense. It's a bill that we had with the Department of Defense that went for pancreatic cancer research only. It was specified only for pancreatic cancer research. And we just got this, I believe it was yesterday we heard. So I don't know if that's something, just to relate, if you'll be able to go into how is that going to affect research? Is it going to affect research at all, or what are we looking at maybe?
I think it's a really important question to ask. And if you don't go to the mic and ask, I will ask
Okay.
Dr. Donahue to talk about that.
I will do that.
Because-
I'm pretty good at going to them.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure all of us, our worlds, our foundation is shaken with this news.
Yeah,
And
I've
we're-
been getting messages for the last couple of days throughout the night, and it's just people are concerned about what does this mean for us. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Has it all been written in stone, or is it too late for people to speak up and talk to their representatives and make their voice heard? Because I don't want to get political, but I do think all this is happening so fast, so widespread. I'm not sure they're really looking at the effects totally of what's taking place. I know everybody wants to shrink government and cut waste and all this stuff. It doesn't mean cut everything out. And so many of these things are just being slashed and burned without a great deal of explanation. And I think then later on we'll discover, oh, that wasn't such a good idea.
Well, none of us think it's a good idea to slash funding for progress we're making in pancreatic cancer treatment. And
Because they have made progress. It
has been great progress.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very concerning. It's very concerning. So I hope he'll address it. And
I can't imagine he's going to be able to say anything with a great amount of certainty. Like, the news is changing and evolving constantly.
I guess that's my point. It seems to be
Yeah.
constantly in flux.
Yeah.
So
And we are asking people to reach out to the representative and let them know how important this is, share their personal story and stuff. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you off the subject.
well, no,
but it's
and just to say, I don't think, Paul, it's ever too late to reach out to your representatives
Yeah.
and share why this is very important. So, yeah, so we'll I'll look forward to you going to the mic and asking that question, and you may not be the only one asking that question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Our next speaker is Dr. John King. He's a surgeon at UCLA. His topic is surgical treatment of pancreatic cancer, a moving target. So he's going to talk about improvements in pancreatic surgery, recent advances in minimally invasive techniques, complex vascular resection and reconstruction, where before, where a tumor was around a vessel or a vein, there was a concern about really it being inoperable, and in fact that's changed a bit, and also enhanced recovery after surgery. So he has spoken at our symposium before, so we're excited to have him back.
I hate to interrupt again, but I think if I remember correctly, Roberta, when you were talking about your tumor, which is still there, wasn't it? You couldn't operate because of what? Because it was wrapped too closely to the blood vessels?
Yeah, my tumor or the veins and artery are actually wrapped. They're actually entwined, is what I was told, and so hopefully he's going to come up with something that will be very useful, not just for me, but for others who have had the same instance. Because a lot of us have been told it's inoperable, and then something like this happens, and they're able to go in. So I'm really interested in hearing more about this. I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, me too. He's a great guy and a renowned surgeon. His specialty is robotic surgery. So I don't know if you've ever seen the Da Vinci. It's a very impressive.
I have never even heard of it. No.
It's a very impressive machine, and the surgeon sits over here, and the patient is over here. And with the robotic surgery, they're able to really move in ways in which the hands can't anatomically move. And so there's some surgeons that do open surgery, and Dr. King trained for 2 years at UPMC, University of Pittsburgh, on how to use this robotic method. It's very impressive. And last time he presented, there was some video that showed exactly what it does. So I'm hoping that happens again.
Yeah, me too, because that's really interesting. We actually had a guest on from the UK who had the Whipple done by robotics, and I thought that was really amazing. So yeah, interested in hearing that and seeing that.
Me too. Coming back to the symposium is Shelby Yachezko. She's the registered dietitian. She knows so much about the pancreas. She knows so much about how it works with the body, pre-surgery, chemo, after surgery. She's going to talk about staying strong through pancreatic cancer treatment, nutrition, and movement matter. So it's not just going to be about nutrition, it's about the intersection of diet and physical activity, maintaining muscle health, and reducing whole body inflammation. So I'm excited for her to talk about that. We've had nutritionists talk in the past. As you remember, Dr. Lee was always a favorite, and Shelby
Yes.
sort of has done well in her footsteps. She has filled them. But she's going to talk about practical tips also on incorporating cancer wellness strategies to improve overall well-being and enhance treatment outcomes and reduce fatigue to stay strong. So
I got to interrupt one more time because Roberta talks all the time about, everybody asks her, why you? Why 20 plus years? What have you done different? What's the secret? And while I don't think you say you have a secret, one of the changes you did make was your diet dramatically.
Yes, I cut out sugar, my Dr. Pepper.
Sounds so sad.
I'm sorry.
I still-
I'm sorry, you said that softly.
Dr. Pepper had
My
to
Dr.
disappear.
Pepper. I did
Her
not have.
daily Dr. Peppers.
I did not have coffee in the morning. I had a 12-ounce Dr. Pepper in the morning. That was my coffee. And when my nutritionist, or actually my holistic doctor, said that's the first thing to go, I'm like, no. I can do anything else,
Yeah.
but don't take away the Dr. Pepper. And as difficult as I will be honest, it was a little hard giving
Sure.
it up. But and I did switch to black coffee with nothing in it, which I could never understand how my dad could drink anyway. But at least it was something. And I do have one every so often, but I don't have to have a whole one. It's just I gotta have maybe that taste. But that was it. I think what I contribute my success to, or my changes, is cutting out not just the Dr. Pepper, obviously, but the sugar, and just really watching what I was eating, processed food, and adding the exercise and the yoga and mediation and meditation. Sorry, mediation. There's my
Mediation
legal
too,
mind.
yeah. Oh, prayer.
Meditation to it. So just a whole bunch of changes. But yeah, I do contribute that, and I'm really interested and want to hear what she has to offer as well, because I think doctors say no, but sugar, there's a controversy there. And I do believe, in my aspect at least, that sugar does have some play in tumors and whatnot. So
I think she would agree. And
We've definitely had people on the show who support the idea that sugar may not cause cancer, but it can feed it. It can assist it. And it's not proven, but the others say, no, that's just nonsense. But the sugar is a contributory factor to the growth of cancer. If that's true or not, but
like I said, in my case, I have to believe it was, because that's the only thing I changed in my lifestyle at that time was the diet. So, and then I haven't had chemo since 2018. So obviously
oh my
something worked.
gosh.
I know, right? Knock on wood.
Wow, that's 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of mindfulness and meditation, Barbara Demon, who's a UCLA RN, is going to be, her topic is empowering pancreatic cancer patients with mindfulness. And Sarah asked me the other day, okay, well, what's mindfulness? And I said,
it's one of those buzzwords that everybody throws around, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure they really know what it is. Yeah.
Right. Well, in Barbara's description, it's a type of meditation in which she'll focus on awareness in the present moment. It involves breathing methods, guided imagery, and other practices to relax the body and mind. So she's going to present for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to go through an actual group activity of a guided
Oh,
mindfulness
good.
meditation.
Who's that
That
woman
still
you've had on
sounds
a
like
couple times,
meditation.
Roberta, whose name escapes me now suddenly?
Yeah, Andrea O'Donnell. She does
Yes.
that too. We've done that with her too.
Real
Yeah.
big believer
Yeah.
in breathing, controlling your breath, and somehow that changes your body here, and
Well-
your outlook and your mind and everything.
And also when you're, as my friend Esther says, you have a circus in your head about fear and anxiety and the past and what's going to happen tomorrow, and to be able to quiet your mind and concentrate on just today, I think that's very helpful for all of us.
One more question I got to keep butting in. Is mindfulness then just staying present and staying aware and purposeful? I'm going to intentionally breathe, not just I'm going to think about my breathing. I'm going to control aspects of my body. Or is it spirituality too? Because so often it can go into gratefulness, spirituality. And again, I'll tee up another guest. Who was the guy you had in North Carolina that was a big researcher? I forgot who.
Yes, I have two in my mind, so I won't say his name in case I get it wrong. But yeah,
But and he wouldn't. It was at some center where they take people with really high. Was it high risk?
high risk for
Yeah.
pancreatic cancer.
And he said, I can't prove that having a spiritual outlook helps, but I won't take anybody that doesn't. In other words, if you don't really feel committed, if you don't think there's sort of a higher power or other assistance, he wouldn't touch them, treat them, because he didn't feel they would be, I don't know, committed enough or strong enough or whatever. I don't know what his belief is, but spirituality, does that get into mindfulness too, or have we gone off the rails into something else?
I mean, if you're just asking me, I
Yeah.
would think mindfulness is a practice, and having spirituality in addition to the mindfulness practice is fantastic. But I don't know that you have to be necessarily spiritual in
To
order
be
to
mindful.
in
Okay.
order to have these practical tips
Right.
to really quiet your mind. After Barbara Demon speaks, returning to a topic for us is it's cannabis and oncology, what pancreatic cancer patients should know. And the last time we had someone talk, it was Dr. Jeffrey Chen in 2019. I know you were there. Dr. Chen, we have tens of thousands of views of his conversation about cannabis and cancer. And so it's time to bring someone back. And Ziva Cooper, Dr. Ziva Cooper is a director of the UCLA Cannabis Initiative. And we sat down and talked a number of months ago. And I said, this is a community that needs information. If cannabis is supposed to help with depression, anxiety, nausea, appetite, patients need some direction. It's not just about walking into a dispensary and having the 18-year-old bud tender tell you what you should and shouldn't take. And also, there was a recent article about dirty weed in California and the importance of, if you are going to use the plant to help with those symptoms, how do you avoid the pesticides and all of what can go onto the plant and then into your body? So she's going to talk about that.
Some of them have heavy metals and other sorts of crazy. They spray stuff on the plants like they do anything else, right?
Yeah, so how do the products differ? Which ones are safe? Which may help with specific ailments? You should walk away with a background to understand the cannabis plant and its chemical constituents, CBD, THC, and the known effects of different types of the products and important safety information. And that's what I hope people really get from this, is the safetiness of it if you're going to use it. And it's anecdotally helped so many people in those for those various symptoms. What's the best way to go about that?
That would be a fascinating guest for the show, because that's a topic that comes up all the time. And it mostly is just, well, I hear this or I heard this. And I don't know that there is much solid science or whatever. I don't know. I never heard anybody talk about the science of cannabis, although everybody seems to believe in it.
Yeah, she'll talk about that. And because it's been 6 years since we've had this topic covered, there are more studies and more information than we knew in 2019. It was sort of new then.
Right.
It's not new anymore. But patients need directions. Then we get to our panel discussion, where we have 4 amazing panelists, 2 survivors and 2 caregivers. Our OG is coming back to the panel discussion. I think it was 7 or 8 years ago where you were on the panel.
Yes, that was a while ago.
Roberta's going to be on the panel?
Roberta's on
Yes,
the
I know.
panel.
Oh, my goodness.
And by then it'll be 23 years,
Yes.
since
Wow.
it'll be after April 1st. So you will be there to share your story. Jerry Weiner will be there. She was diagnosed in 2021, and she's not only a survivor, she's had surgery, but she was also a caregiver to her father, who 8 years earlier had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4. So she comes at this at the panel discussion with 2 different views.
That's
And
Roberta, too. She did her, what was your...
My mom and my dad.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
so
right.
been on
of
both
our-
sides of the fence.
both
Yes.
sides of the fence.
Yes, yeah.
So that's wonderfully unusual
Very much
to
so.
be able to
Yeah.
speak to
And
the
you always
audience
said
to
on
that.
the show, in some ways it was harder being a caregiver.
I believe
do,
so. I believe so. I
Because you
don't
couldn't,
know.
there's nothing you could do.
I
Yeah.
was going to ask Sarah if she wanted to chime in there, but for me, being, like I said, being on both sides of the fence, it was more difficult being the caregiver, especially from my dad, because a very prideful man. you
Yeah.
know, Just,
Yeah. I that's a hard question to answer. I mean, I think you have the best perspective because you've been on both sides of it. It's very hard as a caregiver to say this is harder on me.
No, but was
Yeah.
it hard for you taking care of your mom?
Extremely hard. I mean, it at times felt like torture. I mean, it's very painful to see somebody that you love going through the worst time of their life. It's really hard to try to be the cheerleader and not be fearful and not, spiral and try to maintain your own personal life as well and think about the future and not grieve what's happening in the present. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of things going on, and also trying to keep the patient, your loved one, as grounded as possible, but not knowing how they're truly feeling on the inside and what they're thinking. I don't know about the two of you, but any friends of mine that have lost their moms try and protect you. They don't tell you everything. So that makes it even harder when you don't know what's going through their mind, or you don't know the news that they just got that they don't want to have to tell you. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, it's
And how do you
difficult with
take
mom.
care of yourself? We've had a lot of shows about this topic. Roberta's talked about it. You're there 100% for them. They're potentially dying. I got to give everything I can 24/7. I can't stop. I got to do everything I can. I got to spend every moment I can. And in the process, caregivers die or get sick because they.
Oh, I
Burn
haven't
out.
I haven't heard the story of the caregiver that died from being a caregiver.
Well, I
But
mean, just the stress and the burden.
from even
yeah.
the stress of it. But
Yeah.
I don't think that my answer to that question would be super popular. I don't think that you can. I think there are probably some saints out there that are able to find a way to care for their loved one and take good care of themselves. But, I had loved ones that would send me on a spa day or, come and visit. We're going to help take care of your mom. You go for a walk, go see your friends. But caregiving, especially when it's pancreatic cancer and it is like you're living moment to moment, day to day, you can't, I couldn't take myself out of that brain space. There was no amount of massages or walks or great movies or music or chats with my girlfriends that brought my blood pressure down, that made me feel like, oh, I feel like I can be in the moment. I can be mindful. I can take deep breaths. Like, it just, for me, I didn't find that balance at all. And honestly, I wasn't looking for it. I wanted to focus on saving somebody's life. I was like, I've got years to go. I'm okay. Like, I am, at the time, 26 years old. I'll be here forever. Like, right now, she needs me, and this is what I'm going to focus on. So I'm sure there are people that find balance. I personally did not, with a lot of help from loved ones. I was just committed to focusing, and it's hard on the psyche. It really is. So if you can do it, do better than me.
No, if you can do it, I would really, because I haven't spoken to a caregiver yet that's been able to do exactly what we keep telling the caregivers they need to do.
That's right.
And
Because
that's the
the whole
hardest,
time
yeah.
you're doing it, you're thinking about them. They're at home or you're doing your walk or whatever. Oh my God, what's going on? Are they okay? Are they eating or are they being taken care of as well as I would have done? So you're never away and you're sitting there trying to watch a movie. That doesn't work either. So yeah, if any caregivers out there, if you've been able to manage to do it, please let us know, because I really would love
Yeah.
to talk to them and find out, because I think that's important for us to be able to tell another caregiver, this is how maybe you can do it or how you can help and take care of yourself. Because we say that all the time. The caregiver needs to take care of themselves so
Yeah.
they can take care of us, because then if they can't, what are we doing? But
That's right.
I
And
guess-
now being on the other side of it, I find myself, with the patients that I'm meeting, working at the foundation, I find myself telling them, you've got to take care of yourself. And I'm like, stop being a hypocrite. But my hope is that someone is finding, that the magic in how to make that happen, because, you can't get sick, even if it's a cold, even if it's a flu. Like, it can take you down. It can make things a lot harder. And I think that maybe we still say that to caregivers today because we're hoping somebody will figure it out.
Yeah.
I know I am.
I am too. Like I said, if anybody has figured it out, would love to talk to you
Yeah.
and find out how, so we can go on. But
So I have to mention Dr. Annette Stanton is our moderator for this panel this year. And a few years ago, she spoke about managing the emotional journey. And she had a graph, and it was the caregiver and the patient. And almost every category, depression, anxiety, stress, the caregiver the caregiver had more of everything. And so I thought that was an interesting study. So it's not unusual for someone
And
to.
I thought you did have somebody on the show who talked about that caregivers, there are sort of an unknown stat. Number of caregivers do get sick or even die or something from the stress, the anxiety, the...
yeah, I remember them from getting sick. I
don't know about dying maybe,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah.
know, like, the blood, like you said, the blood pressure goes up, or they don't eat, or they don't take care of themselves.
They don't eat, they don't sleep. Yeah.
And then if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to, if you're sick, you certainly can't go and take care of your person. So
I want to highlight Ashley Baylor, who is our other, aside from Vic Luna, Roberta's husband, who will be on the panel as a caregiver.
Vic Luna's going to be there?
He's gonna be there,
wonderful
too.
Vic Luna, the hidden force behind this story here. We've only met him once or twice on the air here.
what is it?
Anyhow, Ashley Baylor is the other caregiver, along with Vic, and she, her father was diagnosed a number of years ago, and she started a website, Baylor Strong Project. And so she did what a lot of us have done who have been through this journey, which is, how can I make a difference? How can I help? And Ashley started this website just for caregivers. And it's really about everything she can do to educate, equip, and encourage families caring for their loved ones. And I love that, because I'm not aware of one specifically by a caregiver for caregivers.
When Vic
not
was on
either.
the show, what struck me was he said, my whole life I'm Mr. Fix-It. Run a business,
Yeah.
owned a business, took care of everything. Something broke, I'm the guy to fix it. And now my wife's broken, and I can't fix it.
Yeah, we all want to. I think our first thought is that, how can I fix it? How can I make a difference? And I think the biggest thing I learned from after the fact, not so much during, was not trying to take control, not trying to tell my mom in this case what she should be doing or shouldn't be doing, but be a better listener and be really respectful of her journey. And I think I was at the time more trying to fix than listen, and just sort of be there for that.
I think even if you're not like Vic, who was always a fixer, like after this experience, I carry with me, I gotta fix it. Like everything after that is, I'm trying to fix it. I mean, I'm fixing it in the home, I'm fixing it, in work, I'm fixing it in my life. I'm always looking, because it's, it's that one thing where you're hoping to have that ultimate outcome of making it go away, of making it better, of fixing it. And if you're not, in the lane with Roberta, and you haven't, made it past that point where you are thriving and you lose your loved one, you didn't fix it. You weren't able to, cross that finish line in the way that you hoped. So I find that I strive to do that in everything else, and I'm very disappointed because you can't fix everything.
But look what you did. Like, you created the symptom management workbook to help guide patients and families once they're diagnosed. You started working at a foundation. I started working at a foundation. Roberta took her situation, and we're now speaking at Living Hope podcast. It's Ashley has a website. Vic is very involved. I'm sure Jerry will also be very involved. It's like it's what can we do with this energy if we've lost someone or trying to help someone is take action, and I think that's helpful.
yeah, I don't think we can fix it necessarily maybe the way we would have wanted to, but just the fact of anything that you're doing, in a sense, you're at least, you're helping, you're fixing it
Yeah.
to some extent. And can you just tell us a little bit about, I remember the workbook now that you brought it up. I actually got one, so can you just very briefly describe it, because I think we're getting close to time, but just
The short story of it is that, taking care of my mom, we had some really rough nights where I found myself writing down everything that was happening minute by minute, fevers and, dumping syndrome and all these things that were happening, and trying to figure out how to fix it. And I started tracking things, and I found that the more that I tracked her side effects from chemo and treatment and the symptoms she was having, we were having better outcomes in some regard, whether it was nutrition or, other things. So while she was still alive, I started creating these worksheets. And then after she passed away, I created an entire workbook that has sections, including like symptom management pages where you can track chemo, you can track pain management, you can track all of these things. And I think maybe more of the more important part is when you are in treatment and you're dealing with chemo brain, or you're even a caregiver and you're dealing with caregiver brain, you have something in writing, something that you've tracked that you can put in front of your doctor and say, this is what happened last week. And I don't remember exactly how it felt in that moment, but this was a really bad day, and this was 2 days after treatment or whatever. So we made that workbook, my sister and I, and the Hirschberg Foundation took it on, and now we provide it to patients and caregivers through the organization.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing that. Now, for someone just attending for the first time, what advice would you give them to get the most out of the day?
Show up, listen. I always say educate, empower, and it's a day where not only you can learn things, you can ask questions of these specialists, but you can also interact with other people in the community, and you don't feel alone in the experience. So,
and stay in the moment, because there will be videos that come out afterwards. So I know, when I'm trying to learn things, I'm taking notes, and I don't feel like I'm absorbing everything that's coming at me. Like, stay in the moment, learn what you can, but know that we're going to provide this information again a little bit later. You can rewatch it, and always reach out.
And
Great.
where do they sign up? And when is it?
it's April 5th, Saturday, April 5th, and you can go on our website, pancreatic.org, pancreatic.org, and you can see the program for the day and register either virtually or in person.
And how much is it?
It's, well, based on the generosity of our supporters, it's free.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Lunch
Yes,
included, the whole thing? You got
our
an all-day thing?
sponsors like Living Hope have helped to provide this event.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
free
don't
on
you get
charge.
lunch, I think, too, don't you, or something?
You get a delicious lunch.
Wow.
A healthy lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a beautiful venue, the Luskin Conference Center at UCLA. But you have to sign up and let us know whether you can be there in person or virtually. And as Sarah said, the videos will be available on our website post-event.
Thank you both for coming. Really appreciate hearing. I know we need to really do longer shows sometimes, but
Okay.
there's just so much to cover, right? As long as you
Okay.
speak my name, I shall live forever is dedicated to Sarah's mom, if you would say her name, and Amy's mother, if you both would say their names, please.
Jane Dorr Banks.
Myrna.
Thank you.
Aw.
Well, there you have it. For all those reasons, for all those people, we thank you for joining us, and we hope that you'll continue to support this show and share it with others as we continue this weekly journey we call Living Hope, designed to provide hope, inspiration, and education for all those living with pancreatic cancer. If you need more, certainly the Symposium, a great way to go get in-depth knowledge from experts in all sorts of different areas. And that can be found again at pancreatic.org, pancreatic.org. So from everybody here at the OC Talk Radio Network, I thank you for tuning in as always, and hope you'll share this show with someone else and come back again as we continue this Living Hope. Streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center on Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio.